A former Housing New Zealand tenant whose family was evicted after traces of methamphetamine were found in his house wants the agency to compensate him. Pensioner Rima Herbert and his wife Pauline moved into their Housing New Zealand home in the Auckland suburb of Point England in December 2012. The two-bedroom unit was intended for just the two of them, but two of their grandchildren were removed from their parents and taken into their care. In late 2015, Rima was told the house would be tested for methamphetamine.
We got a notification from the social housing provider that there had been some There had been some signs of bad behaviour in our property, and that came out very clearly. So they ordered a meth test on our property, which happened at the beginning of the following year, which they carried out, and it came back positive.
So someone actually suspected that someone at the house might have been using or even manufacturing methamphetamine?
That's right. Yeah, manufacturing. That was what we got through the discussions with the social housing provider, that we were actually manufacturing the substance P.
They suspected it was you that was
yes.
that were manufacturing it.
Yes.
And what
yes,
evidence?
My wife and I.
What evidence
Sorry?
did they? What evidence did they have of that?
I have no idea. I think it was just a rumour. But I've got to say is that my daughter and her partner, we allowed them to come into the house because it was their children there. And the whole idea was after 12 months they would get their children back. So when we went away for the weekend, we allowed them to come in and care for their children on the condition that there's no smoking, no alcohol, no nothing. And they promised that would happen. So, yeah, to be honest, look, I don't know whether it was them or whether the house was contaminated before we went in there, but the test was done.
Are you aware that the house was tested before you moved in?
No, the house was not tested before we moved in.
Right, so it might have been there before you moved in?
Correct.
You and your wife have never used or manufactured methamphetamine?
Not at all. We actually went and got a urine test. That's for my wife and I, and at that time the children, and it all came back clear.
But what did the findings of the test show?
It was pretty high in some places, like in the garage. It was on the ceiling. It was 3.87. So someone was in the garage smoking. The garage door was sitting quite high. Garage wall was high, but in the kitchen, 0.27. Living room was 0.52. You know, and small amounts through the whole house, 0.6 and all this carry on, 0.0, you know, very minimal inside the house.
Yeah, so Rima, do you think your daughter might have been smoking it in the garage?
They may have been done. They may have been smoking in the garage.
And Rima says he refused to move before seeing the report, and it wasn't provided until 6 weeks later when he appeared at the tenancy tribunal. The tribunal ordered the family to immediately move out of the house. I asked him if Housing New Zealand helped them with a place to stay.
Not at all. They just turfed us out. Didn't want to have anything to do with us.
And where did you go?
Okay, so I went to WINS and asked them for some help. I took all the papers with me. They put me up in a hotel for a week to start off with, and they encouraged me to go and find other accommodation and get myself registered on the list for social housing, which I did. So we were able to get in the short term some accommodation in a hotel, which cost, I think, about $700 a week.
And did you have the grandchildren with you at the time?
I did. I had the grandchildren with me at the time. Like I say, in the meantime, my daughter had another child. So when we were actually evicted, we had the 3-year-old, the 2-year-old, and then we had, at the time when we got evicted, the baby was only about 5 months old. So we had 3 children when we got evicted out of the property. We were in a motel for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. And then I just, I couldn't stand it, so I packed up my family and we moved in with my son for a while.
And when you were evicted, did you also have to get rid of all your own possessions?
I did. When I finally got the report, I see that there was an indication there that the chattels needed to be got rid of because of the methamphetamine, which we did. We had to get rid of our furniture and our belongings, our clothes.
Everything?
Everything, yeah.
How much has all this cost you, Rima?
Okay, I guess it would be in a vicinity of about 15,000, I guess, from start to finish. By the time we got the place cleaned out, by the time we got rid of all our possessions, and also with the accommodation, Wynn's advanced me some funds to stay in a motel. So, on average, that was $700 for $700 for 7 weeks. That's a lot of money.
Did you have to pay that back as well?
I did. I definitely had to pay that back through Wynn's.
And what about the cost of getting the house cleaned?
Well, that's where there's a hold-up. So what happens when we went to the Tennessee Tribunal, the social housing provider, said that there is a cost of about $20,000 for cleaning and to get it all rented again. But the adjudicator said, look, we will adjourn the hearing till they came back with the cost, with the full cost of getting that place back up to standard again. And to date, I haven't heard a thing.
What do you want then, Rima? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for an apology, and I'm looking for compensation.
And Rima Herbert says he'll talk to Housing New Zealand about claiming compensation. Housing New Zealand won't comment on Rima's individual case, but says in a statement that matters of restitution will be addressed in the report it's compiling on methamphetamine evictions for the Housing Minister, Phil Twyford.